Alright, let's get right into it. This is going to be a Rushdown Skarlet guide for all of her variations. Those are things you can do in all of her variations. So let's get started. So one of Skarlet's best Rushdown tools is her forward 4. I talk about this move a lot. I really like this move. There's a lot of things you can do with it. But I'm just going to go down a list of things that you can do with it. So let's get started. So one thing that you can do, I'm going to put him on auto, is if you start landing this, you can get guaranteed pressure. If I land this, I have the hit advantage of 15, and then you can go into your standing 4-4, which I'll talk about right after the forward 4. Is that you land this, and this gels, and I'm +6, and then my opponent has to guess what I'm going to do from right there. So I land this, I already take 11% off, and now I'm +6, and now my opponent, he basically has to respect me because I get to throw my whip for free. If he tries jumping out or try poking me, this is what's going to happen. They're going to get hit with 12, with 11, and then I'm going to get my health back. So doing this, boom, boom, and then that's just pressure. That's just guaranteed pressure from landing 2 little limp dick kicks, just like that. So land this, go into your plus frames, it gels, it's very easy to gel. Very, very easy to gel. And then you throw your whip for free, because after you land your standing 4-4, that is probably the best thing to do, is, you know, to throw your whip, because everything else, either it's a guessing game with her standing 4-4. Let's break down her standing 4-4 while we're at it. So I'm gonna, right, so Spawn's doing that, right? So I'm gonna go to my 4-4 right after, right? You saw that, right? I'm +6 and he beats me out. Let me actually try to be on my P's and Q's on this one. Sorry, that's me messing up. Right? And I'm trying to poke. I get poked out. Sorry. Alright, this is going to be the one, I guarantee it. So you do this, right? Right? I think that's going to be right. And we're both going to trade. You see that? We're going to trade. Right there, Skarlet 1. We're gonna trade every single time. It's a guessing game. It's these plus frames really don't mean anything. Right there, she won. But it's really hard to do because you're +6. That is a lot of that's pretty good. But all your buttons are slow. Honestly, the best thing to do in this situation is you're gonna go do your plus frames. Ah, damn it. Let's just make her do that. That is the best thing to do right there. Throw your whip. That is the best thing to do. Because the problem with going into your forward 4 is that Skarlet is going forward herself, and then there's going to be a trade. There's going to be a trade. You guys are both going to hit each other. It just is what it is. You're both going to hit each other. Especially if they have a good down 3 or a down 4. But if they try doing it down 1, you're going to win. That's the thing. So let me show you. So I'm gonna be Skarlet. Gonna make it do that, and then I'm gonna go into that. Down 1. You're gonna win. If you're Skarlet and they're gonna down 1, you're gonna win. But their fucking down 3s for some characters are just really stupid, and they're down 4s that they could actually beat you. So I'm gonna show you guys the best things to do for offer 4-4 or standing 4-4 really quick, and then I'm gonna go back to her 4-4. So one of the things that I think is really good is, sorry, let's make him ducks just so it's realistic, is after the forward 4, you throw your whip. That's guaranteed right there. You need to practice that. That actually requires somewhat of execution because you can't be mashing it because it literally is to become a 50-50. You have to, like, after this animation is over and she goes into her Krauser stance, what you're going to do is you're going to throw the fucking whip because that's guaranteed right there. But sometimes I actually like to go into my 4-4. I actually like to do that for the simple fact that if my opponent tries jumping out, I'll catch them. Or if they try throwing it down 1, I'm going to win. But for some characters down 3s, if they have really good and fast down 3s, you know, I'll just throw my whip. But for the most part, you know, I like to do this. So boom, go into this, and then boom, short hopper, boom. Oh, sorry. Complete the string, or boom boom 1 grab, or boom boom this, or even boom boom step back overhead, or boom boom step back and do something like that, or boom, boom, boom. Get my plus frames, +3. Throw another whip for free. There's a lot of shit you can do. It's actually pretty nice off of the standing 4. So those are some options. Even doing this right here, jumping in on them. So there's that. So let's go back to the forward 4. Now that you guys know things that you can do with a standing 4. So here's the thing. So once you start establishing the forward 4 and then the side kick, high kick, right? Doing this, what is it, 1, 2, and then going into this, that's where you have your opponent pretty much fucked. They're pretty much fucked at this point. You pretty much condition them to block, because all this shit's gonna be guaranteed pressure. This is all, if you land these 2 little limp dick kicks, like, this is gonna be guaranteed. So we could just start doing stuff like this. Grab them. Look how much damage they lose. That is a lot of damage for just... That's a lot of damage right there. That is a ton of damage right there. Not only that, you can do things to be completely safe. You can do 1, 2, 1, and then grab them. Just throw their timing off completely. Another thing you can do is do 1, 2, 1, short hop. There's a ton of... Not only that, you can do this. Go into your overhead just to throw them off completely. There's a lot of options that you have off of just landing these 2 little kicks right here. And then especially in the corner, dude, there's nothing they can do. There's nothing, absolutely nothing they can do. Once you start landing this in the corner, I could gel into this. I could... Oh boy, where do I start? So when they're in the corner, right? You land this, and then I could... This gels. I could throw this, and it will gel, and then they're just pretty much fucked from there. Like, landing these 2 kicks on your opponent, they're pretty much fucked, to be honest. So that's just one thing I like to do, establish, am I going to get my plus frames, or am I going to grab you game, or am I going to stagger, do a short hop, or am I going to stagger and then grab you? So landing these 2 kicks is crucial for Rushdown. And then also using this in neutral, when your opponent whiffs, clipping them with this, doing stuff like this right here, doing stuff like that is just really good. Another standing 4-4 tip that I can give to you guys is, if you don't want to risk your opponent mashing out on you, what you can actually do is this right here. I'm spawn, I'm going to try to poke, try to jump out. It's just, they have to block that. So that's one thing that you can do to bypass the are my plus frames going to work on this character? I do this on Kung Lao all the time. Those guys get caught all the time because they always be jumping out. Katana players as well. It's really good. So now that you establish that mind game with your opponent, you do this, walk up, grab. That's what you do. That is exactly what you do right there. Highly recommend that. It's just, you're completely safe, and then you could establish a grab game with Skarlet, which is really good. Because her forward 4 and her standing 4, mixing those 2 together is fucking ridiculous. Another thing you can do is offer standing 4, you could do something like this, like 1 overhead, you could do this, and then go to your low and just make it a fucking mind game. Like, am I gonna complete the string? Boom, am I gonna go into a low? Am I gonna go into an overhead? Am I gonna grab you? So you could just establish this, like, what the fuck? No one's staggering this. No one is staggering this. Like, I guarantee you, no one is staggering it, for the simple fact that everyone is always completing it for everyone's ready for that second kick. They're just ready for that second kick. And instead, you know, boom, they get grabbed, or they get like little overheads and stuff like that. So I highly recommend doing that, because if you want to end a fucking game, a round really, just do this. No one sees that coming. No one is going to see this stagger right here, and it creates space as well, which is what you're going to want, and your +1 as well, which, fuck it, I'll take it. So ton of mind games that you can do off of that. And then another Rushdown tool that I do is I establish my auto shimmy mind games, and let me explain to you about what I mean by that. Okay, so when it comes to landing the auto shimmy, right, what you do is this. One thing that you can do is you throw it once and then go into your standing 4. I think that's extremely good. Land my down 1, gel into that, and then go into that right there. I think that's extremely well. Like something you definitely need to do. Because one thing I really like to do is do 1-2 walk up grab, or 1-2 like this gels. All this stuff after you land these 2 hits right here, my next hit is guaranteed. There's nothing my opponent can do. Nothing my opponent can do. So what I like to do is 1-2 and go into my standing 4. You cannot get poked out of that. It's impossible to get poked out of that. Doing this and then going to your forward 4, there's nothing. You have the hit advantage of 9. That's more than what you need. 8 or 7 is all I really needed, but 9 is just super easy to gel. So once I land this, boom, pressure from right there, and then that's when your opponent has to guess what the fuck you're gonna do. So you can do 1-2 this grab. You can do 1-2 this standing 4. I mean, yeah, standing 4-4. You can do 1-2 this step back overhead. You could do this 1-2 grab. A lot of mind games that you can do. Not that you can do this short hop, or you can even do 1-2 or with 1-2 this overhead. So that's one thing I like to do. 1-2, am I gonna go into the low? 1-2, am I gonna stagger it into this right here? So there's a lot of things that you can do that, you know, it's really tight. Another thing is, once I condition them off the forward 4, is that I'll just go into my plus frames. Just like that. You can get poked out, but once you start establishing that every time you do this, I'm going to my forward 4, just throw your plus frames. You'll be +6. You can't go wrong from there. So that's one thing I really like to do, is after this, like staggering my forward 4 into short hops, completing the string, staggering it to grabs, or just fucking grabbing in general. The reason why I do this and not anything else, I'll do this to get a crushing blow. That's another thing you can do if they're mashing or they're trying to jump out, whatever, for a reason. But the reason why I go into my forward 4 is there's just more options. Like, why am I going to do this right here and then do something like this? Or do something like that, right? Like, so I'll land this, and then, yeah, I can go into my plus frames, but could be predictable. It could be predictable. You can't get greedy with it. But if your opponent doesn't know anything about the blood ball, absolutely recommend doing this right here, and then that's a free whip right there if your opponent doesn't know. It's just something I haven't really established, but this is actually really good. 1-2 this, and then that's a free whip right there. You know, so there's that. And then you could also do this, just create space and then get your health back. There's nothing else that I would do, but I go to my forward 4 just because there's more options off of my forward 4 than it is with anything else. But yeah, this is actually really good right here. I would recommend it, especially if your opponent doesn't know shit about, you know, how powerful the blood ball is. I would definitely, this is like, oh, this is death right here. Like, you're gonna be landing whips for free and stuff, and then you could also just fucking overhead them just like that. So there's a ton of mind games that you can do. This is how I use this string right here. The only time I ever complete it is when I have a guaranteed punish. I'm either gonna do 1-2 and then do something after it, or I'm gonna do this and go into that, or shit, even go into something like that, or even establishing kind of a little ghetto 50-50, which is like, after I land my poke, do that short hop, or that, go into my low starter, or that, step back, make them whiff, and do that. So there's a ton of things that you can do. Last thing I want to talk about is putting your opponent in the corner. Where do I begin? So when your opponent is in the corner and I'm Skarlet, it's pretty much game over. It literally is pretty much game over. I have a safe launcher that I could do stuff like this, and now you have to guess. I have the hit advantage of 22. You have to guess whether I'm going to throw an overhead at you that gels, or whether I'm going to grab you, whether I'm going to throw my 4-4 again, whether there's just so many things that your opponent has to worry about. A lot of things he has to worry about in the corner. This string as well, this move is actually really good for like stopping your opponent. Like, you throw it, you enhance it, you could throw an overhead, you could throw it, boom, that, sweep. So it just becomes like a 50-50 basically. Like, your opponent has to guess whether, you know, you're gonna throw low, or whether you're gonna throw an overhead. Throwing it out like this off of a read is really good, but what I like to do is do this